Please be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Captain Gardner Ray, Master of Ceremonies for today's event. Welcome to the promotion ceremony for Admiral Charles A. Chaz Richard, our next Commander, United States Strategic Command. General John Hyten, Commander, United States Strategic Command, General, United States Air Force, will officiate today's ceremony. We invite our civilian guests to stand with the military during portions of the ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for honors and the singing of the national anthem. Thank you, Chief Bimley, for that amazing rendition, and Staff Sergeant Thrower, Heartland of America Band trumpeter. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We would like to acknowledge a number of special guests celebrating with Admiral Richard today. His spouse, Lisa, welcome back to STRATCOM, ma'am. Their son Chase, daughters Allie and Emily, Admiral Richard's mother, Patricia, Lisa's parents, Tom and Patricia Moore, all of Admiral Richard's brothers and sisters, Lisa's brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, and cousins. Admiral Richard and his family would also like to acknowledge General Hyten's spouse, Ms. Laura Hyten. And Admiral Richard and his family would also like to thank all of the component commander leadership, STRATCOM leadership, and their spouses for attending. Ladies and gentlemen, General John Hyten.
All right, good morning, everybody. So we also like to introduce a special guest today, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, John Mark Milley. This is, for the airmen in the room, this will be a strange ceremony, because this is a Navy ceremony. The Navy does it quick, does it fast, and then we get on with life. But I'm going to say a few things about Admiral Richard. because he deserved everything that he said about it today. Now, the Navy frocked him so he could show up here on base, get certified over the weekend for the nuclear mission, which I think took Chaz about 5 minutes. He's done it a little bit. So he was frocked to 4-star, but he did not have a promotion ceremony with his family. So it's pretty amazing when you look at it. You see Admiral Grady, General Ray, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Heck of y'all. This is about you guys. This is about the family. And it's not that I don't care about the chairman. I do. And that may come back to haunt me in about 4 days. But really, today is really about the family. And you need to see what's about to happen to Admiral Richard. Because he's about to pin on his 4-star. That happens very, very rarely in the United States military. Rarely does it happen for anybody, but even more rarely for a kid that grew up in Northern Alabama. And in that case, I speak from personal experience. Because to have today happen with 2 kids from Northern Alabama, one from Huntsville, one from Decatur, is just like the strangest set of circumstances. It's the strangest set of circumstances. But when I met Admiral Richard, when I got here 3 years ago now, November 2016, Admiral Richard was here, and Admiral Richard knows the nuclear mission. But he is a spectacular naval officer, a spectacular submarine driver. I mean, he's had a number of submarines, but I don't know about him. I think the Parchie was probably his favorite. The Parchie is a little bitty submarine. I always think after under that water, his bunk in the Parchie is basically behind the console for the captain of the boat in the front. And I just imagine him sleeping at night right below that console, or sleeping in the daytime, sleeping wherever, because it's pretty much always dark down where the Parchie is. But he has commanded the smallest submarine in the Navy, and now he'll command the entire SSBN fleet as the commander STRATCOM. He just came from the Commander Submarine Forces. But the interesting thing about him is it's not just the submarine force. He understands the entire nuclear mission as well as anybody ever has. But he grew up in a rival high school of mine. And I'm sure we played sports against each other somewhere growing up, because back then, Huntsville and Decatur, I mean, we were in the same, our high schools, so we're in the same division. So we played sports against each other. I was not a great athlete. My guess is he wasn't either. But we played hard, and we still play hard today. So today's going to be a special day. It really is. But I hope when you guys come up and pin the rank, or actually put the rank on your dad's shoulders, that you look at those 4 stars in that rank and understand what it means. It means a couple of things. Number one, he really has achieved something special. But he'll tell you more than anybody, he thinks it's all luck. He really does believe it, but it's not. It's skill, it's perseverance, it's leadership, it's everything that goes into being what he's about to become, the commander of the most powerful command in the world. And it's a big responsibility. But it also means that he's a leader who loves his family. It really is, and that's why you guys have been pinning on his shoulders. He loves you as much as I love my family. And to watch him with you guys, and to be honest, last night, it was like Redneck Central Court. It was, and just like when any group of Alabamians get together, I don't know why it is, but redneck stories start. And they just do it, we tell them on ourselves, it just makes no sense at all. But we all grew up doing it, and we're all proud of where we grew up, and we're proud of the people we grew up with, but he does love you guys. And more than anybody, he loves you, Lisa. He really does. So, Mom, you should be proud. Lisa, you should be proud. Kids, you should be proud. Aunts, uncles, cousins, you should be proud. It's a special day. So, without further ado, let's get on with promoting Admiral Chaz Richard.
General Hyten will now promote Admiral Richard.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. The President of the United States has reposed special trust and confidence in your patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities, In view of these special qualities, your demonstrated potential for increased responsibility, and in accordance with the authority vested in the Chief of Naval Operations, you are hereby authorized to assume the title and wear the uniform of Admiral, United States Navy, effective 18 November 2019. Mrs. Richard, will you, Chase, Allie, and Emily please come forward and join General Hyten and Admiral Richard between the flags? Chase and Allie will attach the Admiral's new rank.
You smile.
Thank you, Mrs. Richard, Chase, Allie, and Emily. General Hyten will now administer the reaffirmation oath.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Charles A. Richard,
Having been appointed
having been appointed
an Admiral in the United States Navy,
an Admiral in the United States Navy,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and
the
defend
Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office upon which I am about to enter.
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, General Hyten. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Charles A. Richard, United States Navy.
Take a seat. Chairman, sir, thank you so much for joining us today. Quite unexpected, very pleasant surprise. Admiral Grady, Admiral Ray, or General Ray, thank you all for being here. I want to be brief. We have a number of other important things to do today. I cannot tell you how humbling a moment like this is. I want to thank General Hyten personally, not just for doing this ceremony, but I have to say, sir, publicly, General Hyten is a 1-in-100-year officer. I can't tell you what an honor it was to serve for him as his deputy. I'll tell you that beyond watching what he did with STRATCOM and his command responsibilities, his attention to me personally, mentoring and developing me, is a primary factor that I'm able to discharge the responsibilities I'm about to accept and why I'm standing up here today. Sir, I just want to thank you for that. I am overwhelmed with the number of people that are here, particularly both sides of the family. I'll tell you that all of this begins in Coleman, Alabama. There was a lesson in character and how to do things correctly that has served me well to this day. And I thank you for all of that. I can look across at a number of other mentors, people I worked with, people that influenced me, and there's many more that are not here. And I can tell you that each of those along the way provided an inflection point in a career that has led to this point today. Let me just say that, look, I really, when I say I only intended to be in the military for 4 years, that 4 years in peacetime was a very small price to pay, I'm not kidding. I did not expect this Forrest Gump story of a career that takes us to this point. But I thank everybody along the way that influenced it. And I'll tell you the biggest influences I have to turn back to are my wife and family. Right? My kids went through a lot. It is unique to have spent 31 years of marriage in their entire lives, going up in a military household with all the pluses and minuses, the dynamics associated with that. But I thank y'all, right, for going along for the ride. and also being here at this point today. And just let me close by saying that I owe all of this to my wife, right, Lisa? You'll hear me say I only get a couple of original thoughts a year. I have to husband them very carefully. You're going to hear this again in a second. But if it hadn't been for Lisa, I really would not have made it past lieutenant. That I'm still kind of surprised she married me, but the moment that happened was a major inflection point in my life and in my career, and I will be forever indebted to you for that, dear. That's what got me here. So look, I want to keep this brief. We have a much more important ceremony to go do. The nation needs our vice chairman, so let's get on and do that, right? So thank you all for being here. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the formal portion of today's ceremony. Please come forward and congratulate Admiral Richard and his family. For those family members who are going back to the green room with the Admiral and Mrs. Richard, please meet Mrs. Ray in the back of the room. For those family members and STRATCOM leadership, component commanders, you're welcome to relax and remain in this room with Mr. Wilding, and we will direct you to the ceremony at the appropriate time. Thanks very much for attending and for sharing this special day with Admiral Richard and his family.